Hello and welcome to the Unapologetic Moms Club podcast. I'm your host, Janine McKinnon, manifesting maven, lunar ritualist, nature lover, sex magic expert, and empowering sex, love, and relationship coach. If you'd like, you can think of me as your witchy bestie who calls you out on your self-deprecating cycles while encouraging you to align with your highest self. And I'm on a mission to help women return to the wisdom of their bodies and nature and to embrace their inner power. If you're a woo-woo mom craving more self-love, confidence, fulfillment, and passion in your life, you're in the right place. The Unapologetic Moms Club podcast is here to help moms like you to thrive as your most radiant and happy self. Here you can find inspiration and tools taken from my one-on-one coaching sessions and group experiences to support you in your journey. We'll cover things like societal conditioning, inner child healing, pleasure practices, manifestation techniques, approachable rituals, and all-around women's empowerment. My goal is to shift your perspective and to give you actionable takeaways so you can walk away from these episodes feeling inspired to create a life that ignites your soul. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful we're able to connect in this way, and I can't wait to dig into the contents of this episode with you. Without further ado, let's get into it. So this one's a little far out there, but I think it's fucking hilarious. So here we go. For the next portion of my Vita program for my coaching certification, I get to specialize in 3 different areas, which I'm super excited about. I've chosen women's empowerment, life transitions, which has a whole lot of rituals and things like that, which I love, and jade egg. So this huge, energetic female sexuality component. So as I am gathering my tools to dig deep into this stuff, I decided to upgrade my butt plug as well as get a crystal wand. So I've ordered 3 wands. I do have an affiliate code if you're interested. I love, love, love their stone pleasure tools. And so I got an obsidian wand and then a rose quartz butt plug. And it finally arrived. It actually arrived while we were on vacation. So I was super paranoid that it was going to show up on my doorstep and have wands written on it. And my neighbor be like, what is this? And look it up and find out that I have these crystal pleasure tools in the box that he is keeping safe for us until we get back. So I was totally paranoid throughout our vacation that this has happened. But thank fuck that one, it is discreet packaging. So it doesn't even have the company name. It just says Courtney Davis on it, who is the founder of the company. So that was super relieving. And then 2, that actually, it went to my mailbox and didn't show up to my door. So huge relief. Finally got my pleasure tools. I opened them up and they're gorgeous and amazing. And I'm super excited about them. And so I had remembered in some of my early training for Vita, one of my teachers talking about how you want to really clean and cleanse your new pleasure tools when you get them. And so she, I thought, had recommended boiling them. And so while I was cooking dinner, as a pleasure coach would do, I also decided to cleanse my pleasure tools, much like I do with cleaning my menstrual disc every month or my cup. So I had the water boiling, and as I went to put them in, it was funny, I kind of put the wand in with some hesitation. And then when I went to put the butt plug in, I stopped myself. I was like, I don't know if I should do this with this crystal in this high heat. And then I overrode that feeling. I was like, no, my teacher said that this is how you do it. She knows, so I'll do it. Put it in, and instantaneously, I hear this cracking. And it was so disappointing. It stayed all in one piece, which is nice. But still, I heard the crack. I could see these cracks. You couldn't feel them. But when I took it out, cooled it down, you can see that these cracks had formed. And I reached out to Wands, who has amazing customer service, by the way, so happy with how it was dealing with them. But they basically said, no, they don't recommend boiling. And that it's really up to me and how I feel. And I just know when it comes to the anal area, you don't want to risk things getting stuck up there. It is not worth it. I don't know about you, but I do not want to have to show up to the hospital with something stuck in my ass and having to get ducked to retrieve it. Let's just avoid that from ever happening. So if it had been a wand, perhaps I would have tested the waters with it because I could retrieve it if need be. But with the butt plug, I could not. And so I decided not to use it for that. And so the moral of the story, though, is, and where I'm really getting to it with how it helped me strengthen my intuition, is that I had that inner knowing. I had that response that honestly came through quite strong right at the moment it needed to, that I shouldn't do that. And I overrode that. I overrode my inner knowing, my strong intuition, and thought of, oh, someone else knew better than me. Now it turns out I looked up that training and there was definitely a disclaimer not to do it with crystals because they are more delicate in nature. You can boil your borosilicate glass, but not your crystal. And so it wasn't even a teaching that she had shared. And I had just that strong knowing not to do it, and I overrode it. And this whole situation has just really served as a strong reminder for me to follow my intuition, to not think that other people outside of my experience know better than me. Because you know what? There are a ton of experts out there on their different areas. And yes, they are very knowledgeable with what they do. And I look up to them in many ways, while at the same time dealing with myself and my personal experience. My inner knowing reigns over theirs. And I have gotten into different positions and thinking of teachers or mentors or this and that know better than me, and to quiet myself down and follow what they're doing and chase that the answers come from them. And that is so wrong, because the answers always come from within. We all have unique situations, unique life experiences, and we know what is right within us. Now, some of us have a more cloudy relationship with that than others. That's one thing pleasure practices really help in allowing you to slow down, build your connection with your intuition. But it is within all of us. It is there. We just need to slow down enough to hear it and trust it enough to listen to it and act on it. And so, like I said, this is something I've struggled with back and forth in different ways over the years, and I am so thankful that my butt plug cracked because it has been that turning point for me, that after this moment, I know my inner knowing and how it reacts and how it shows itself so strongly now. I know the repercussions of not following it, that I'm not going to do that anymore. Like, I understand what's going on, and I'm going to listen to my intuition. I'm going to follow it. And it comes through in so many beautiful ways. And what is funny in true ridiculous Janine sex coach fashion is, as this reminder, I have my butt plug sitting up in a plant at my desk. So I've buried the base of it so it just looks like a rose quartz egg, but it is up there in my plant, serving as a reminder and a beacon for following my intuition every time I sit down to work, every time I pass by my workspace, because it's so important for me. And it was just this pivotal moment, which is hilarious, but has such strong meaning behind it. And things are all about the meaning we place on things. It can have meaning or not, but this is the meaning I choose to place on this situation. And so a little takeaway I will leave for you with some sort of tip, because I like to give you tips as well as ridiculous antics sometimes. When working with your intuition and building strength with your intuition, it can be really helpful to track it. So this is actually a tip I learned from Catherine Zankina, Manifestation Babe, is to have an intuition journal. And when you get different intuitive hits, no matter what they may be, you record them down. And then you also record your results. So this can be done in a notebook or like an Excel spreadsheet on your Google Drive folder, which I like to do for a lot of things because I can access it anywhere, anytime. And so finding the results from your intuitive hit, sometimes you find that out instantaneously, like it's a situation with my butt plug. Other times it takes longer, and perhaps you saying no to a job opportunity, you don't find out till a few weeks, few months down the road that a better one comes because of it. Or perhaps you have this inkling to go to this different store this day, and then turns out you met this awesome connection there, and then a little while down the road something comes from that. Sometimes you'll get the results, sometimes you'll get the results right away. Sometimes it takes longer, but to try and track these things. And when you track something, that's how you're really able to see the results, to have that pause, to be able to reflect and to see what's going on, because it's so easy to carry on through life and have these different things happening, and with no real record or time for reflection, it just passes by and doesn't have much of an effect on us. But if we truly want to do this, put this intention behind it to really build our intuition, because she is a powerful force. That's like a whole other podcast episode, is to bring that intention to it, to record things and to build that relationship. And you will likely begin to find a pattern, and you are going to be able to better recognize when this intuitive hits come along. You'll be able to better recognize those nudges for doing something that might seem odd but lead to better things. You'll better recognize those full no's that are screaming at you, trying to save you from something that you end up being an idiot and not following. And so you can learn from those things as you see these patterns, as you reflect on them and see these results. You can learn from them and begin to really build that relationship and be able to use your intuition in a way that not only supports you, but supports your family. This has applied to so many different things, with work things, with our family business, stuff for the kids, and different decisions we make with them for schooling and things like that. It is a very powerful practice and thing you can do, and I will leave it at that. So whether you found this episode interesting or helpful, I would love to hear from you. Or if you have had an experience like this, please let me know so I feel less alone. I would appreciate that. You can shoot me a message at janine.mckinnon. I would love to hear from you. And until next time, take care. Thank you so much for joining us inside the Unapologetic Moms Club podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you feel called, I would so appreciate it if you shared about this episode in your stories or left us a review to help us reach more women on their unapologetic mama journey. As a thank you for your support, you'll be entered into our monthly draw for a free laser coaching session. Just tag at janine.mckinnon in your story shares, or leave the rating or review, screenshot it, and email to janine@unapologeticmotherhood.com to be entered. One lucky winner is selected every month for a focused coaching session to support you in working towards your current desires. Until next time, trust your inner wisdom and create some magic.